Previously on making a brochure design.
It for the even number as well, and I changed it so that the odd number will be on the left, the even number will be on the right. Copy the color and paste on the shape there, and then found the transparency so that it's going to match very well and you will not see where the whole thing blended in. So that was what I did over here. Repeated the same process for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth dignitary. This is the final part of this video I made today. Behind the scene, I did a little adjustments and formatted the pages in the way that the even pages or the sheets that will be on the left hand side will have the purple numbering and purple slanted border. Is that a slanted border? And then the sheet on the right will be having the gold side at the edge. And then I started with order of service. I know this narration is quite off from what you just saw in the video. Please bear with me. There is a lot I did in this video that it will be too long to narrate, and this video took hours to make. I'm just trying to summarize everything I did and show you the most important things in the design. So for the order of service, I chose some nice fonts for it and found a perfect position for it, which I thought this would have been the perfect position for it at first, but then I thought wrong, changed my mind and changed some other things in the font and positioning as well. We will agree that choice of fonts can sometimes be confusing in designs like this, where you're necessarily not going to be using one font all through. You're allowed to change fonts, tweak it, but in everything you should still make it professional. But when I chose my font, I set up the order of service and arranged it in this format that I think it was best for it. Next was to make sure that everything is correct, because there were some changes that were sent to me and I had to implement those changes as well. So I did those changes and also corrected the grammatical and spelling errors of the whole write-up. This is going to be a repetitive process here because while this was being sent, I don't think much attention was paid to making the corrections, but even at that, it's always good that two people judge and make sure that things are as correct as they should be, and that is exactly what I was doing here. Even though the first writer might have made some corrections, adjustment to his own eyes, I would also be beneficial to the whole process if I also make my own corrections, because I might see something that they themselves didn't see. It's quite windy here and the breeze is blowing. The weather is getting towards the end of the year. The harmattan is out, so you might be hearing some, my window, my blinds, they might be making some noise, so please bear with me on that. Next was the congregational hymn. I set that up and it was simple. It has already been typed. All I had to do was to place the formatting well so that it fits into the design like glove fits on a hand. Of course, I would make the chorus of the hymn to be bolder so that everyone will know it's chorus. You don't necessarily need to write chorus anymore on such. If you just make it bold, by sense everyone will know that that is chorus. And if anyone does not know, he can ask those that know, right? Yeah, they should. So no need. I stretched it out to fill in the page because there was nothing else that would be on that page. So we have our congregational hymn set, order of service set, and next was the autobiography. But before I went into that, I discovered that there was still a space left for the officiating ministers. I needed to put the officiating ministers before the autobiography. if that made sense. And that was what I did. So I copied the congregational hymn into a new page so that I will maintain the format of the whole setup, and then copied the text for the officiating ministers. And of course, there will be some corrections, there will be some editings, there will be some adjustments, which you will be seeing right now. So I changed the font back to what it was or what it should be. I found out that this particular font does not remain if I ask the software to maintain my fonts and formatting. It changes it to something that I don't like, and it made me always come back to change it. I corrected that within the video by changing my font to something different, but I didn't touch this one. So I just formatted this one, separated every dignitary by his position and whatever post he holds or she holds, and made sure that they were distinct and not packed together. And after that, I also started making sure that their names were emphasized with bolder fonts than the rest. So that was what I did, and I repeated the same process for the whole names of everyone that was mentioned in this list. We then decided I added the planning committee lists and their positions as well. And also, when I was done with that, separating it, formatting it as it should be, arranging the whole design as it should actually be, I also added the master of ceremony. One of the important things about design is decision making, and in decision making you consider a lot of things. You consider the readability, the audience that will read it actually, the audience that you're making it for, the age of the people that you're making it for as well, because there are some kind of ways you will make designs and it will look too young for some people or too little for some people. It will go beyond their heads. It will not be something that they can understand, and there's a way you make the design, it will not be appealing for others. So I try to balance it all here, saying that the demography of people that will be coming for this event is mainly people beyond their 20s, people beyond their ages of 20s. So I went from the youth pop, so something youthful to something more mature was the essence of this design. Now you're seeing the bar there, trying to separate the different sides of that same page, keeping one in the gold bar and keeping the other one in the white bar. But after some readjustments, I discovered that something was off, so I changed the color of that gold bar to match the purple. But if it was too much purple, it would be somehow, so I reduced it by reducing the opacity. Next was the autobiography. Now there is a confession I will make here. This autobiography will not come out the way you are seeing it right now. Not that there will be major changes, but there will be a few changes. When I was creating the pages, I made sure that the side with the gold edge is on the right side, so that when you are on that page, the next thing you should do is to flip the whole paper to see the next page, and the side with the purple edge is on the left. So if you open the sheet like a booklet, you will see the purple edge on your left side and you see the gold edge on your right side. So while I was creating this, I thought, well, if the autobiography started on the right and ending on the left, it will look awkward, won't it? It's better it starts from somewhere you can read from left to right without having to flip any page. So that was what I did, but before then I had to set up this whole topic area or subheading part of the design. I brought in this image, this vector image here, to add some more life and style to the whole design itself. And here is me trying to style it at where it will fit in. As you can see, I have no pre-planned idea of or the finished idea of what I want to make, but at least I know where I was going and I knew how to get there, just that I needed some trials and iterations. So that was just what was going on. It's very normal in designs to do some back and forths and changes, and that's why clients should not think that when a design is sent to them, the whole thing was just done in one step. There is a lot of changes, there are a lot of considerations, and that's why sometimes when you bring suggestions as a client and the designer tells you this cannot work, he has probably tried it and it didn't work. At least for that design, you might have seen it elsewhere where it worked, but for your designs, madam, it wouldn't work. Now I was creating the columns, which again was not how it came out. Yeah, forgive me. But this was what I created for now, so I'll be showing you what it later turned out in the next slide.
6.5 hours later.
And yes, this was what later happened. So I finally readjusted it, changed the page. I didn't change the page settings, I just changed the positions of some things. The officiating minister would now come after the autobiography. I think that was what I did. We'll find out, please. So I changed the whole thing, and then the autobiography is this. So we have the back or the end of the autobiography and also the front of the autobiography, which you just saw. Then I forgot to record while I had already put the felicitations or goodwill messages of my siblings, my elder brother, me, and my younger sister, the three of us. Yeah. Rest in peace, mommy. So I did that, and then I added some other family member that also sent her own felicitation, my mom's younger sister, our auntie Goodness. Very, very nice lady. Well, it's well. Okay, I edited her contents. I've not added a picture, obviously, and I have the way I do my things. When I'm bringing this brochure, I collected them in a drive. I made people send it, fill it in a form, Google form, and send it. And then I collected it, and whichever one I was done with, I colored the whole column yellow, so that I will know that I was done with that. So you'll be seeing yellow flashes on your screen as I am picking these messages to send to put in the design. As I'm picking these messages sent to put in the design, as you can see that particular one. So that was how it all went, and after putting her name, I now also wrote the font correctly. Now I've already changed font, obviously. Next thing I did was the obvious, to put her picture. Like you can see now, that part is in yellow, so I had already done that one. So I clicked on the link of her own work. I also changed it to yellow because I already done it, and then downloaded her picture, found the folder where it was in, and brought it into the whole design. Placed it where it should be, adjusted it to fit in well, and then I put it there. Also did some little image adjustments to the image so that it does not appear bad while printing. And I'm sure the printers would also do theirs if there is need for that. Next was to find a particular place, because everyone, I believe, should have a topic on their own message. But for some people that didn't send their topic, what I did was to pick a phrase. You will see that also in another content, in another message I will put here. So I'll pick a phrase in their message and use that as the heading. So I read these messages and pick the phrases that I think matches the whole message, and I will put it in the heading as the heading of the message. There's a lot of messages going on, and obviously copy, paste, find another design, use it on the pasted one. So I copied the previous one I did with my sister that my sister sent, and pasted it on the next page, found the next message. After I searched to see if there were other family members that sent, while that has been exhausted, I now added every other person from the first person that sent down to the last person that sent. And that is exactly what I was doing here. Editing, adjusting, just the same repetitive, boring stuff. So in order not to bore you, I will be seeing you when I'm done with this particular setup. Also, like the previous one, this one didn't also come with a header, so I picked a phrase and created a header. It also didn't come with any picture, so I deleted the picture that was there. Now I placed it on one side of the page on a column, thinking that that was the best option. Then I went on to the next. I obviously, of course, picked her name before I did that, and then I went on to the next, right? Okay, I'm still adjusting. Then I went on to the next. Great. And as usual, I will copy a previous one, drop it, then pick the next one. Why I do this so that I won't have the trouble of changing fonts over and over again. So I just change the first font, obviously, and then the remaining text maintains the same font that was used in the whole text. I only change font for the headings, but when I was doing that, I found out that this wouldn't fit in if I made it that way. And this was because although it fits in now, the text is too crammed in, and I'll need to adjust a lot of things. I'll need to add paragraphs to it. So I know that by the time I'm done with all those adjustments and adding paragraphs, it will cover up. So I needed to create that space for it, and that was what I did here. So there you go. So there you go. Here you have it. It didn't totally fill it up, but I think it's quite better this way. I can actually give the other design a breathing space. So I marked it again, done. The next one was a poem. It was in a document and it came with a picture as well. I didn't add the picture initially and I thought that would be the case, but I later added the picture later. Of course, this is the poem, so let's focus on that poem. Copied it. It was a long poem, and poems are written like music. You don't just write everything like a book or a sentence. So I did what should be done. I also changed the heading of that other one to make sure that it fits into where it should be. Then I copied the poem. This is where I'll be ending for today because this poem is quite a long one, and this video has already exceeded the time I expected it to be. So I'll be working on this poem in the next video and I will show you what it turned out to be. So for now, this is the poem. This is me working on it, and I'm not sure if those hyphens between the God of my forefathers is correct, but I left it that way, changed the font, and I wasn't sure if the font that I later used retained it, but we'll find out as we are watching this video. So yeah, that will be coming up in the next episode because I am still struggling for fonts. So the previous ones are waiting for you, so if you haven't watched them, do well now to go and watch them. They'll be popping up as recommendations right now on this screen, and after watching that one, the one before that one will also pop out as a recommendation. So make sure you watch these videos to see the progress I made with this design. So see you soon. Like, share, comment if you love this video, and if you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Badass.